when Vladimir Putin said any Western interference may lead to consequences never seen in your entire history, was that a nuclear threat? Let's find out. Joining me now is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Melanie Joly. Minister, thank you for joining us on obviously critical moments. Canada has announced new sanctions on Friday, even against Vladimir Putin. Allies, including Canada, Canada's been one of the leads on this, have now agreed to boot Russian banks out of SWIFT, which is the international banking transaction system. What impact will that have?
Well, our goal, and I'll be very blunt, is to suffocate the Russian regime. We know that people that took this decision, Putin himself and his close guard, need to pay a price. And our best way right now is to put maximum pressure on the economy, on oligarchs, and like I mentioned, Putin's close guard. So we sanction Putin himself, his foreign minister Lavrov, the Minister of Justice, the Minister of Finance, and also the Minister of Defense. We've also, at this point, sanctioned all of the Duma members, so that's the Russian parliament, that voted in favor of the so-called independent territories in the eastern Ukraine that they recognized. And so we are continuing by really looking at many options because we want to make sure that we're isolating Russia.
Okay, now the SWIFT, though, is a new development late Saturday night, and I know this morning there's going to be more announcements on that. But does that have increasingly, as you say, you're trying to isolate and choke off the Russian economic regime there? What new impact will SWIFT have?
Well, it will isolate Russian banks. They won't be able to communicate with the other banks in the world. So the impact of SWIFT is really important, I would say, and not only it is important, it is immediate. Because when we put sanctions in place, we know that the impact of it takes a couple of weeks. But this is really immediate, and also we're looking at many other options. But you know what, Evan? At the beginning of this week, people thought that Nord Stream 2, the important pipeline between Germany and Russia, would never be canceled. And it is canceled. People were saying we would never be ready to sanction Putin himself. It has been done. And then people were saying, oh, the West will never be able to cut off the Russian banks from SWIFT. And now that's done. Okay,
well, there's more. Some are saying, okay, these, but as you know, Vladimir Putin or his foreign minister Lavrov, though they've been sanctioned now, they have no assets here in Canada, but many others do. Is the Canadian government or your allies considering not only freezing Russian assets, that's been done, but seizing Russian assets?
Well, we need to work with all the tools we have in our toolbox, based also on the legislation that is available to Canada. So that's why we're looking at what's at our disposal. But like I mentioned a bit earlier, we need to be united within the West because Canada, although we're not necessarily the country that has the most economic ties with Russia, we don't want to have any loopholes in our strategy, in our approach between Europe, the UK, the US, and us. So that's why we're working all coordinated in lockstep.
Minister, let's talk about lethal weapons. Ukraine need weapons. The President Zelensky, refused a U.S. offer to evacuate him. He's on the ground, literally on the front lines in Kyiv right now. And he said famously, I need ammunition, not a ride. Canada has sent only $7 million worth of lethal aid. You and I both know that's not a lot. The Germans have just reversed course. They're sending 1,000 anti-tank weapons, anti-air defense missiles. What is Canada sending more lethal aid, and if so, what? Will it send things like anti-tank weapons?
Well, my colleague Anita Anand, the Minister of Defense, is definitely looking at different options, and I'm supporting her in doing that. We know that we've already sent lethal weapons, like you mentioned. They've been successfully delivered, but also on my part, what I've been doing is to make sure that we have a strong relationship with Poland, because any form of delivery needs to go through Poland. And so that's why I was in contact on Friday with my Polish colleague, because we need to make sure that we secure that way of delivering ammunition and any form of lethal aid and non-lethal aid to Ukraine.
The Conservatives and others are asking for Canada boot out the Russian ambassador. He lied about the intention not to invade. He said so on this program. So the one question is, will he be booted out? And is your government considering asking the CRTC to revoke the broadcast license of Russia Today, which is essentially a propaganda arm of the Russian government, so it cannot spread disinformation as it has been doing? Are those two things on the table?
So, to your two questions, the first one, I summoned the Russian ambassador. I looked at him in the eyes and I told him exactly what I thought and what was Canada's position. And at the same time, I've been in contact with our own ambassador to Russia. We believe that it is important to keep a diplomatic link. Why? Because there's hope with the Russian people themselves right now, who are bit by bit understanding what is happening in Kyiv, although there's lots of propaganda that they're under. Talking about disinformation, definitely we're looking at RT. I've had many conversations with the Minister of Heritage, Pablo Rodriguez. We know that RT has been banned in other countries, and that's why we're looking at many of our options. But RT is not only on our broadcasting system, it is also online. And that's why this is something that I'm talking about with the G7 in the coming hours.
Okay. That's interesting. So we'll watch that file. Just last question for you, Minister. The fighting is brutal right now. And the Ukrainians are putting up an extraordinary fight against an overwhelming Russian force. But Vladimir Putin warned the West that any interference, and I'm going to use his words, said such consequences you will see that you have never encountered in your history. Many have interpreted this as Vladimir Putin threatening a nuclear war. Do you and your government interpret that warning that Vladimir Putin has threatened to use nuclear weapons in retaliation for Western interference?
We know that what Vladimir Putin is doing right now is irrational. So based on that, we're taking our decisions and we're helping Ukrainians. And I'm in close contact with many of the Ukrainian cabinet, including the chief of staff of Zelensky
So I'm just going to say, so if it's irrational, that means you're not, obviously, it's not off the table. This could be a nuclear threat.
All options are on the table. Evan, this is the biggest security threat in our generation. It is the biggest security threat right now for definitely Ukraine, Europe, but also for us. And that's why we are acting in close contact with our allies and taking this extremely seriously.
All right, the Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly, on a very tense morning. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.